Welcome to Low Man Help. I'm Mark Campbell, and today we're looking at Derrick White's spot-up reads. We're going to look at why White is the second most efficient player in the playoffs at spot-ups at 1.389 points per possession. We're going to look at all three layers of the closeout. Catch, shot prep footwork. Layer 2, reading the closeout defender. And layer 3, reading the help defenders behind them. I'm excited for this edit. Let's get into it. All right, Derrick White has been the second most efficient player in all of the playoffs in spot-up opportunities. He's scoring about 1.389 points per possession. That's an unbelievable clip. Out of 100 possessions, he's scoring 139 points, basically. And one of the reasons is everything it's building from this epicenter, from being able to shoot the ball, and you make and miss shots in spot-up opportunities before the ball gets to you. So this right here, this is where you're going to make and miss shots, and it's all going to come from what you do down here to start with. That's going to start the chain reaction. What your feet are doing, and then with your hips, and then with moving the ball up, that starts the chain reaction. So this lift right here, this is the biggest thing we're looking at every single time. He is going to lift his body up, and that's going to allow him to load 1, 2, 3 with his footwork, and that is power, load the power, shoot with rhythm plus balance. And this is what you want every single time you're in a spot-up opportunity. Every single time you're shooting the ball, you do the work early. So this is White lifting, loading, power, load, rhythm, and balance. When you are in spot-up opportunities, this is when makes and misses happen. They happen before the ball gets to you, reading the play early, driving the power. All right, this is the epicenter of the closeout. If you can catch every single one with great shot prep footwork, do your work early so that when the ball gets to you, the machine is just going, you're going to get a lot more efficient closeout looks, because most of the time the read is shot. And a lot of the times we overcomplicate it as players because we let the ball get on top of us and we don't do our work early with our feet. So every single closeout, do everything right with your feet before the ball gets to you. Lift the body up, power, load, rhythm, and balance, shot prep footwork, and let it rip from there. All right, once you've shown that you're going to shoot the ball at a high level and that every catch is going to be great shot prep footwork, you can start to build off of that base. So shooting the ball is our epicenter. It's the core to getting good closeouts. And here we're starting to get this lift from White again. So lifting on the catch and power, load, rhythm, and balance. So whether you're shooting the ball, whether you're shot faking, it doesn't matter. The beginning of the story looks exactly the same. Power, load, rhythm, and balance. And now this lift is giving White time. We're going to see as we go on this lift right here, it's giving White time to read this closeout defender. He's getting to see, is this a bad angle? Is this high hips? Do I need to give him a reason to fly by? So this is a reason to fly by. We've got storytelling pump fakes. We've got feet, hips, hands, eyes. This is what we're looking at when you're going through this storytelling pump fake. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 4-step process, and you are telling a story to your offender. You're giving him a reason to fly by, and this is an awesome shot prep storytelling pump fake from White. And then the next layer, so call this level 1 up here. The next layer is now layer 2, and now we're just reading help defenders. We're reading these guys. Is it early help? And if it is, we're going to make a pass. And if it's late help or no help, we're going to go finish ourselves. So White makes a good decision here. All right, now we're starting to see the layers, right? Because if every single catch, it's great shot prep footwork, power, load, rhythm, and balance, and you're shooting the ball at a high clip, the closeouts have to get a lot harder. They got to get a lot harder towards you, and you're going to get high hip closeouts. And whenever you get high hip closeouts, there's an opportunity to let somebody fly by. So shot prep footwork into storytelling pump fakes versus high hip closeouts is a great solution. White does a phenomenal job here of telling the story, feet, hips, hands, eyes. And then once he gets the flyby, he's on to the third layer, reading help defenders. Is it early help? Pass. Late help here, it's him to go finish. But it all starts with doing your work early with the shot prep footwork so you're in rhythm and balance, and then you can tell a story. All right, next one from White, we're getting another storytelling pump fake, another great read of the closeout, and another good read of early help, late help, or no help. White's one of the best in the league at continuously doing everything right he knows. And that doesn't matter if it's on the catch with shot prep footwork, on the closeout with reading pump fake or go or shot, or in the second layer of reading help, no help, early help, late help. He is continuously doing everything right he knows and playing simple yes or no basketball. So first thing we're looking at this lift. So as the ball is coming to White, he's going to lift all the weight up, and this is going to allow him to load the power in an efficient way and to read this closeout defender, read their angle, read their hips. And so on this lift, he takes it up, and this gives him that split second to read. This is high hip closeout. High hip closeout, he's running because I'm shooting the ball, and he knows I'm going to shoot the ball if I get a clean catch with good rhythm, good balance. So I'm going to give him a reason to fly by. So he does a wonderful job here. Feet, hips, hands, eyes. Gives Highsmith a reason to fly by on this storytelling pump fake, and then gets to the second layer. So that's level 1, and now we've got level 2, and he's just reading these 2 help defenders, 1 and 2. If it's early help, pass. If it's late help, go finish. If it's no help, then this is it. Get in this section where they cannot get to you, and it's your shot. And he does a wonderful job of making a great read early with his shot prep, next layer with his pump fake, and then final one reading help. All right, next one, we're always building from that epicenter of being able to shoot the ball and great shot prep footwork. Then we're getting another storytelling pump fake, and White does such a phenomenal job of using the sequence of feet, hips, hands, and eyes. He locks those eyes on his target, and he really sells, I'm shooting this. Phenomenal at this storytelling pump fake. And then the next thing is reading the help defense. If it's no help and they're not coming up, well, you don't want to force yourself through to the basket where help is, and you don't want to pass. So you have to be willing to take what the defense gives you. And White does such a good job of that here, taking what the defense gives him and shooting it in rhythm, on balance, pull up. All right, last one in the storytelling pump fake category, and White, again, continuously doing everything right he knows. It doesn't matter if it's on layer 1, 2, or 3. And this is just such a phenomenal play. He moves, right, creates an open angle, and then this lift right here, right, lift, load, lift, load. Every single time he is telling a story that he's catching it to shoot it. Everything is rhythm, balance, rhythm, balance. And when we talk about this sequence of feet, hip, hands, eyes, this is it right here. He is locked into this target already. He is locked in, and Nembhard knows. When you turn and you see a guy loaded like that with his eyes locked on the rim and doing shot prep footwork and putting himself in rhythm and on balance, you got to go. You got to go close. And White does a wonderful job of every single time doing everything right he knows with his shot prep footwork, and that sets up these storytelling pump fakes where he's giving minimal ball fake, but it's all about his body moving in a sequence. And then the next layer, just like we talked about before, we're reading this guy. So if it's early help, simple yes or no read, that means pass. And when White sees early help here from Shepherd, this is a simple read. He's not forcing, trying to get through this crack, this sliver here. This is a simple read. Great movement, great shot prep, great storytelling pump fake, great early help read, all singles, but this is what makes him special. Again, building from that base, everything right you know, great shot prep footwork, great storytelling pump fake, and then if it's early help, make the early play. What Derrick White does so well is he takes the singles every single time. And that's not just with passes of reading help defenders, but it's with what he does early with his feet, with shot prep footwork, with storytelling pump fakes. And then when you finally get to layer 3 and you're seeing help, it's coming from a long ways away. It's not like help is sneaking up on him. He's created those advantages by doing everything right he knows along the way and stretching the advantage piece by piece by piece. All right, so next part of this for White is all these closeouts that we saw. He was basically standing and minimal movement, letting the ball get to him. Now we're starting to see him read space early. So I call this WIMS, where is my space? And so as the ball is going down here from Pritchard, White does a wonderful job of reading, because here's what he's looking at. If the ball is to get baseline, we got one, we're going to have help. And then Jaime Jaquez here is going to be help the helper, and he's going to be responsible for 1 and 2. And so White sees that, and he sees the ball going down, so he starts to move up. He starts to shake up here, and he's trying to create an opening in a passing lane for the ball to get to him if it doesn't get baseline. So as he's going down, he's moving into space and he's already a step ahead of Jaquez. So as the ball is coming to him, this lift, right? Lifting here, this is what gives him a second to read. And it's not that he's looking at Jaquez and saying, oh, are your hips high or this happening? He's feeling. He's using his feel and his instincts, because once you get lifted around here, you can see Jaquez's closeout has to go in two different directions now. It's got to go up and it has to go over, because White has used his movement, where is my space, to create more of an advantage for himself. So by doing his work early, not only with his feet, but with his mind and his movement, he's created this moment where Jaquez is behind the play. He lifts, power, load, rhythm and balance, and now he's reading, right? And this is not a closeout. These hips are off balance. This is not a closeout that demands a pump fake. It's not a closeout that demands a shot. It's one that demands a drive, because he's got Jaquez so off balance already. He won this play early with his mind here. And by doing that, he gave himself a moment to take advantage of this. And as soon as he gets downhill, now he's got Jaquez's hips turned. And once we get to this point, it's going to be 2 steps for White to stop, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3 for Jaquez. And all of this happens by doing your work early and continuously doing everything right you know. And White does a phenomenal job at that. All right, everything right you know is not just when the ball gets to you. It's reading the play early. White does a phenomenal job here of reading where Jaquez is sinking in this help the helper situation, and then shaking up and taking that space. Because he moves early, because he does everything right he knows to find space, the closeout has to be in 2 different directions, north-south and east-west. And from there, it's all about White just taking that advantage that he gained when he didn't even have the basketball and pressing it further and further, using Jaquez's momentum against him. So when you're out there, everything right you know is not just when you have the ball. It's hunting space. It's reading where space is and then taking what the defense gives you. All right, next one for White. This is another WIMS read. Where is my space? And you're consistently reading, where can the ball get to me on a straight line? Because you can't throw, curveballs with the basketball. It has to be on a straight line. So you're consistently trying to see, where is the space I can get to when penetration is happening, where the ball can get out and get to me on a straight line. So as Tatum's going down here, White's backing up and Tatum's going through this pocket. He's going to get through this pocket, and it's pretty clear if the ball gets to here, there's a few places that it can go out because the ball is in Tatum's right hand. It can either go out going down this way, or it can go out going this way. So this is the area right in here. This is the area that the ball can get to if Tatum gets through here. So White does a phenomenal job of reading that. And as he's reading, White is on the move. White's on the move right now, and he knows that the ball is going to get to here. And his job is to make sure he gets in this cone, this space where the ball can actually get out. His job is to be an option here. And he does a phenomenal job of getting through, giving a passing lane, giving Tatum an option, and then always great shot prep footwork. He's moving the whole time. His eyes are tracking, and it's power, load, rhythm, and balance. And this is what sets up everything for White. Being able to shoot the ball, but hunting closeouts. This movement is him hunting closeout opportunities. This is great movement. All right, these are some of my favorite shots. This is WIMS reads. Where is my space? And you're consistently reading where the ball can get to you from a straight line. You can't throw the ball on a curve. It's got to come out at a straight line. So I call this a second window shot. The first window would be in front of your defender. The second window is behind them. So White does such a nice job here of reading where the ball is getting to, reading that it's going to get through nail help, and that the opening will be behind his defender's back. And he moves to space, and then he continuously does everything right he knows. Moves to space, reads where the ball can get to him, and then power, load, rhythm, and balance, shot prep, footwork. He is hitting singles over and over and over again. All right, last one here from White, another WIMS opportunity, and this is just such great movement. He is hungry for opportunities, and one thing that he knows is spot up that's his jam. Second best in the playoffs, 1.389 points per possession, and he seeks them out. When there's penetration on the Celtics team, these guys do a great job of moving, and this to me is one of the best. You can even see him right now. He's out of our picture here. He's going to move out of our picture. He's up here, and we're going to lose him for a second. And as this ball goes down, when you think about WIMS, we're looking at Nembhard right now. You want to think about eyes to the ball, right? These eyes are focused on the ball, and anytime the eyes of your defender are focused on the ball and there's a hip turn and penetration going, that's a moment where you need to be reading, where can the ball get out to get to me on a straight line? So this is the window. The ball is going to get to here, and this is the window. It can go from here to here, right? And you can't get the ball. If Nembhard is here, this is all dead space. None of this is available right here. Even though Horford could pass there, none of this is available because Nembhard had it locked up. So White reads that, and you'll see him move through here. He is moving to where the ball can get to him on a straight line. And this is no different than closeout reads. This is not a shot. This doesn't need a pump fake. He's already won just like the Jaquez won with his movement before the ball gets to him. So this is an attack right off the bat. But he does such a good job of winning the play early with his mind. This is not something that takes an enormous amount of physical skill. This is basketball intelligence at its finest, and Derrick White does an awesome job of doing everything right he knows every possession. All right, that's it for the Derrick White spot up edit. One thing that he does so well is everything right he knows every single possession. And it's not just about when he has the ball in his hands. It's about doing his work early, making sure that he's reading where space is, getting into space, and then every single catch has lift to shot prep footwork, power, load, rhythm, and balance. And he uses that fear of great shot prep footwork into shots to build every single thing off of when he gets these spot up reads. Derrick White's one of the best players that any young player can watch because most of the time you're not going to have the ball in your hands. You're going to have to read how to make things happen from spot up situations. And hunting more spot ups means more catch and shoot threes, more opportunities to attack high hip closeouts. This is one of the most efficient plays in basketball, and Derrick White's one of the most efficient players at them. It all comes from doing everything right you know, simplicity, and hitting singles. I hope you enjoyed this edit. I really did too. I'll catch you on the next one.